Tennessee. From the country music capital of Nashville to the Beale Street Blues in Memphis and the bluegrass mountain melodies. Here in the volunteer state, a neighborly spirit reigns.
Neighbors working together to make the community a better place to live. I do my best to keep that spirit alive, and I want to present that to Lions around the world.
Bob Corlew has spent a lifetime connecting with his community.
You've been doing good?
And embracing every opportunity to serve, lead, and shape a brighter future.
He's always the same person, whether you meet him in the courtroom or you meet him on the street. He's a very genuine person.
Bob and his wife Diane live outside of Nashville in a town called Milton.
The biggest thing that I love about Bob is his calm nature.
We have a large family, and family is very important.
We have 5 children, and we have 5 grandchildren.
Okay, here we go.
I can't think of a time when he hasn't been there when I need him for something.
We would go on hiking trips. He would teach us little things all along the way.
He had a 1982 Corvette that looked just like the Batmobile, so he would be Batman, I would be Robin.
The grandchildren call Bob Grandbob, and they call me Dee Dee.
Yeah, wow, the kitty cat.
Being a grandfather is a great experience.
There's always something going on when you've got a big family. There's always somebody that's doing something that gets you laughing and giggling.
Behind closed doors, he's a goofball. I don't know if you've ever seen him chuckle, but when he gets tickled, man, he gets tickled.
The influence of my parents certainly shaped my life very, very strongly. My ambition I gained from my dad, from my mother, dependability.
Bob's parents were educators. His father taught history at a state college. They lived on a small cattle farm near Murfreesboro. Bob was the oldest of 3.
One of my jobs was to feed that calf every afternoon when I came in from school.
And that's not all he learned on the farm.
I learned how to drive when I was 7. I sold gasoline when I was 8.
He was an enterprising and persuasive boy.
I think both my parents would tell you I was a handful, always wanting to do things.
We started the Farm Boys of America. I remember that.
In 2nd grade, Bob organized the 77 Club.
You had to be 7 years old to be in 2nd grade. So I think that's where we got that number.
I remember Bob being very into Boy Scouts.
Scouting appealed to me, I think, because it involved a lot of outdoor experience. It incorporated citizenship and service.
A natural-born leader, Bob achieved Eagle Scout at 13. At 15, Bob convinced his parents to let him spend a year in the nation's capital.
A friend of mine got to be a page in the United States House of Representatives. Well, I thought that sounded like tons of fun.
He wrote to Tennessee congressmen, but there was a long waiting list.
I am one of these folks, I don't like no for an answer. I was born in Alabama, so I wrote to the senators from Alabama. And as luck would have it, one of the senators had a vacancy.
Spending his 2nd year of high school as a Senate page set his course for a career in public service.
That was quite an experience for a young fellow.
We would describe Bob as fearless.
Whatever Bob put his mind to, he did. Including radio.
I would go down to the radio station before I'd go to high school and read the newscasts. Later, I worked radio also while I was in college.
At Davidson College, he majored in history and served in the ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps.
To drive a tank and to work in some of the engineering equipment, that really appealed to me.
After finishing law school at St. Mary's University in Texas, he served in the Army at Fort Knox before returning home to Murfreesboro to practice law.
He has always had a need to be a servant leader.
One evening while working late, a friend invited Bob to dinner.
He didn't tell me where we were going, but we were going to a Lions meeting. I was a Lion then within about a week, and 2 weeks later I was the club secretary.
From the very first week he was in the club, you could see that Bob was the leader.
Becoming a member of the Murfreesboro Lions Club in 1978 fueled his passion for community service.
I felt a strong sense of responsibility to make the city a better place.
And justice for all.
And I decided I wanted to be a member of the city council.
In 1980, Bob ran.
I didn't win. I kept on working and kept persistence.
2 years later, he ran again.
This time I finished first.
In 1984, Corlew became one of the youngest judges in the state of Tennessee. And in 1990, a new opportunity arose.
Chancellor is an unusual position. There are only 3 states in the United States that still have a chancellor.
He receives the cases where it is a question of an equitable remedy rather than a criminal remedy.
I had a number of cases that were somewhat high profile. There were decisions that were not popular. I had to make the decision that was right.
As a teacher, Bob inspired and mentored a generation of law students.
He was one of my law professors at the Nashville School of Law.
One of the things that really stuck out to me about Chancellor Corlew was his ability to treat everybody with dignity.
He would not only show compassion toward the folks in court, but he would thank them for their argument. Everyone felt like justice had been served.
He showed me what a judge should be. Every day when I put on that robe, I tried to act like he acted.
He's given so much to the legal field through his whole career, but his heart has always been in Lions Club.
They danced in the lemonade.
Bob organized the Murfreesboro Noon Club and was the charter president.
Thank you for being a lion.
My club has worked to make things better, particularly for our youth. We have also worked extensively in the area of sight.
Bob was my cabinet secretary. First report, he sent 7 typewritten sheets. A judge, he sees it all.
Celebrating our 100 years.
Bob has helped charter several Lions clubs, including a club of attorneys, the Murfreesboro Downtown Barristers Club.
Our clubs really are the best way for us to provide service to the communities. And where we see communities that don't have Lions clubs, that really is a big opportunity.
Bob will be successful in leading Lions Club International because he gives his whole heart to whatever it is that he's involved in.
He is a natural leader and inspires those around him to want to do great things.
I think the theme New Mountains to Climb is perfect for Bob because Bob is always looking for that next place that he needs to be and that next goal that he wants to reach.
Being a Lion has changed my life by helping me to do more for my community. We as Lions can have a tremendous impact. Together we can make the world a better place.
This judge is ready to preside as the 100th International President, leading Lions into their next century of service. Bob Corlew, 2016-17 International President.